Hello everybody, BrainStorm here. Valentine's Day just passed us, which tends to raise plenty and many of unanswered questions about the season of love and all that entails. So I wanted to take the time to answer some of the questions you guys prompted for me. Let's get right to it. So I do just have the questions written down right here on my phone, and that's where I'll be reading them from. Our very first question is from our favorite Epic Man. His question for us is, how does one actually attract people aside from the usual be yourself? That is a great question. And honestly, the answer is very simple. It's pheromones. I'm kidding. I have an actual answer, don't worry. Well, my wonderful friend, attracting people really comes down to the amount of effort and confidence you put in to be an attractive figure or an attracting force. I like to break it down and simplify it into categories. Whether you're a man or a woman, no matter what your type may be, everyone has a certain set of standards for the person that they are attracted to. This standard would include intelligence, charisma, hygienics, and a strong balance between individuality and commonality. Step 1 is hygienics. You have to put in effort for your physical appearance. You just have to. There's no other way around it. Even the bare minimum effort and routine hygienic maintenance can make a world of difference in not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. That routine should consist of showering at least once every other day, presenting yourself with clean skin, non-greasy and well-brushed hair, very well-groomed facial and neck hair, and yes, that also does include nose hairs, unibrow, and eyebrow management, so learn to use those tweezers, gentlemen. As well as fresh breath and clean teeth. All of these are detrimental to clean hygienics and being seen as attractive. And if you keep up on this sort of stuff, you'll be feeling like a dime before you even walk out that front door. Of course, this seems like a lot to keep up with and maintain and manage, but if you dedicate one day a week to doing the finer, nittier, grittier, detailed stuff, then doing the regular everyday upkeep doesn't seem so overwhelming. It's actually pretty easy. If you commit to the hygienic routine, then you will notice over time that your skin and your physical appearance will start to almost upkeep and maintain itself. It gets used to it, and it wants to keep itself there. Also included with hygienics is physical appearance. Presenting yourself in good health is of utmost importance because nobody's going to want to be with somebody who is literally choosing an early death. Exercise, 4 days a week minimum, and be sure that it includes a lot of cardio and stretching. After you start exercising, you're going to notice that your body is going to require a lot more fuel. And this is where a healthy and well-balanced diet comes into play. Eat plenty of fruits and veggies and an absolute fuckload of protein. The more naturally absorbed these proteins and nutrients are, the more your body will thank you for it by looking good and feeling good. Avoid veganism and other popular diet trends because they do not work. They are absolutely reserved for people who have deficiencies or imbalances or medical conditions that require that sort of diet from them. If you stick to these habits and routines religiously and you commit to them, you will notice and feel like a completely different person. It'll be nothing but improvement for you. But hygienics does go beyond physical appearance. You have to keep your surroundings very well maintained and organized as well. You must put in effort to maintain your rooms, your houses, your vehicles, your places of work, because what this does is it takes that attractiveness you're trying to build for yourself and it extends it beyond yourself. For example, if somebody sees that you have a messy car, they will immediately associate that with you or some aspect of your life, and that will immediately raise red flags for anybody. Same thing goes for your rooms and your houses. Nobody's gonna want to come over and hang out and spend time with you if every time they come over, they just see piled up dishes, piled up trash, hair in the sink and in the shower, dirty toilets, and a smell that they feel the need to escape from but can't, no matter how far away they run, you know? Nobody's gonna want to see that. It's gross. So clean those spots off your damn mirror, okay? As attractive as you want to appear to others is as attractive as you should find yourself and your surroundings. If you can't learn to make yourself into somebody that you like, then you can't expect anyone else to like you either. All of these routines and habits also significantly benefit mental health. So in my opinion, this is kind of the best way to learn to love yourself and give yourself the best treatment. The next big category is charisma. Learning to love yourself is a long and educational journey of oneself. But along this journey, you will pick up a few traits like confidence, passion, focus, and drive. All of these are aspects of charisma. Charisma tends to bring out optimism in everyone and naturally draws people towards you, seeing you as a benevolent factor in everyone's life that you're associated with. This is the correct way to build up a mystery about yourself and attract people to you. Incompetent people nowadays like to believe that in order to be mysterious, you have to be some emo, dark, moody, broody, edgelord, antisocial person, but that's some absolute ridiculousness. That's actually the perfect way to isolate yourself. The opposite of what we're trying to do here. The mystery you want to build behind yourself should prompt questions for people like, what makes this person stand out so much compared to everyone else here? What makes them different? These sort of questions are the type of questions that make somebody want to engage in conversation with you and learn more about you, get to know you better. That sort of charisma can easily carry a conversation while you can feel comfortable being open and transparent about yourself. The last thing you want to do is try to attract people with lies or a false personality or made-up persona. Living your life with a fake face on is a direct path to living unhappy and unsatisfied and overall miserable. You should only strive to attract people that will like you for who you are. Part of charisma and self-confidence is knowing your worth. Knowing that you're worth the same amount of time and effort that you put in, and understanding that anything less is truly an insult to yourself. Don't settle for anyone who can't accept you, and don't put in effort to capture their attention because it's a waste of your time, and they will never be able to understand how amazing of a person you are if you constantly are settling for less and changing yourself to chase after them. Let them regret not choosing you. Choose yourself. Category number 3, intelligence. Intelligence is an absolute necessity when it comes to being attractive to others. It's both necessary to attract others and to protect yourself from attracting the wrong attention. Striving to fit other standards means you have to hold others to the standards you have, otherwise it's not going to feel like an equal effort is being put in. So, being intelligent enough to recognize early on when somebody is manipulative or super grotesquely entitled or toxic or self-centered or narcissistic or any of those. Being intelligent enough to pick up on that stuff is a really, really good way to avoid any sort of heartbreak and wasting your time on the wrong people. You are not a bad person for having standards. I cannot express this enough. You should have standards and you should expect others to as well. Definitely avoid high maintenance people, avoid the wild and free or the crazy people, and avoid people who have extremely high expectations without any sort of trade-off or exchange. If you don't, you will end up broken emotionally, financially, mentally, and yes, sometimes even physically. It's also important to be intelligent enough to resolve everyday simple issues while maintaining a positive attitude. It's important to not be taken advantage of, but it's also important to be able to give, help, and lend a hand when the opportunity arises. Find a good balance as to show you care and are putting an effort to show you care without overextending your hand. It should also be a very high priority to be capable of protecting your significant other both while they are present and while they are not. Another incompetent belief is that the attraction of being dangerous is that you have to be crazy and aggressive and threatening and violent, and that is just not true at all. That's dumb. It's dumb as hell. Please recognize this is a mentality, and the people who live that way and choose to live that way always, every single time, end up in either prison, therapy, but mostly both. The true attraction to danger is having the capability to be dangerous when the necessity arises. Are you willing to stand up for your significant other? Are you willing to do harm for your significant other? Are you willing to be directly and unavoidably put in harm's way for your significant other? Are you willing to stand up to your friends and family for them, and vice versa? You have to be intelligent enough to manage all of these situations if the need arises. Another very slept on aspect of intelligence is, are you willing and capable of listening, learning, understanding, and admitting when you're wrong? If any of these are a no, then you aren't ready for any sort of committed relationship yet. But that is correctable if you put in the work, so don't give up hope. Last but not least, a balance. Individuality versus commonality. Individuality and commonality are polar opposites, but are both entirely necessary to attract others. Individuality meaning, are you strong enough, willing enough, and capable of standing on your own even if odds are stacked against you? Are you willing to build from nothing and with no one for something you desire? Are you capable of handling problems by yourself as they fall on your plate? Nobody wants to have to take care of anyone. If they did, they would have adopted children or become a professional nanny. You have to be able to stand for what you believe in, even if you stand alone, because no one wants a pushover that isn't confident enough to speak the truth or speak up for what they deserve. Having that said, it's detrimental to have a balance of commonality as to avoid being too selfish or self-centered. Always be open to listening and understanding other people's points of view. Whether you end up agreeing or disagreeing, it shows intelligence and emotional maturity to express that care and compassion for what other people are thinking and going through. Independence and community are both essentials to being viewed as attractive to others. This will also help you in becoming a better leader for others to look up to as well. People will both admire and be attracted to you if you take these practices into your daily habits and routines, and I hope these categories answered your question, Epic Man. Our next question: is Valentine's Day a day set aside by the world to celebrate love as a whole, or is it a putrid marketing tactic so people are obligated to spend heavily at least one day in the first quarter of the year, driving up Q1 sales, as there's no major holidays in the first quarter of the year? I actually have an answer for this one. Nowadays, it is absolutely a money grab marketing scheme. Simple as that. However, I personally like to believe that that is not the reason we still celebrate it. The origin of how Valentine's Day was created is still kind of a guess, but the most popular belief is that during the Roman Emperor Claudius II's reign over the Roman Empire, there was a priest named, you guessed it, Saint Valentine. He was very well known for marrying soldiers in secret during war, as the emperor's beliefs were marriage makes a weaker soldier. The priest was rumored to wear a ring with Cupid on it so that soldiers would be able to recognize him. And as a precursor to Valentine's Day cards, he would hand out paper hearts to remind everyone to love one another, and to remind couples to love each other as one. The word and the idea of the word Valentine meaning love or lover was highly popularized during the 13th or the 15th century by authors, poets, and artists, which is around the same time that red hearts and flowers and stuff like that were being represented in plenty of artwork and paintings, and it was becoming a fad, a fashion trend, if you will. It actually wasn't until the late 18th century when companies and big corporations started capitalizing on the idea of love and Valentine's Day, all starting with Cadbury officially releasing their heart-shaped box of chocolates in 1860. It's all been downhill ever since. Following not too long after was the big company known as Hershey releasing their official chocolate kisses in 1907. And in 1913, Hallmark jumped on the corpo capitalization bandwagon by officially releasing the Valentine's Day card. The holiday's only further been commercialized ever since without any of these money-hungry companies planning on slowing down. But who can blame them when so many people still celebrate with the fiery, passionate belief of true love, at least for one night, weighing deeply in their hearts every year? Thank you so much for the question. Now let's move on to number 3. Do you think Cupid is actually some baby, or is it just some fully grown bearded man with bows whose arrows essentially take control over the body like Ratatouille? Or is it some eldritch horror that nobody can truly comprehend that wants nothing more than to write fan fiction about whatever two humans they think look nice all at the time? Can you guys imagine like an actually grown bearded man that you can't see is just like playing matchmaker or some shit, dude? That's actually kind of funny. But no, I do not think it's some sort of eldritch horror with a weird fetish, because as everybody knows, eldritch deities are not real. And that was weird. So as I was saying, obviously it's not a fully grown bearded man, and it's not an eldritch deity, because everybody knows that would be absolutely ridiculous. Eldritch deities aren't fucking... That was your fault. You did that. I want you to know that, okay? Ridiculous. Alright, next question. When and why was the last time a Marvel comic included Cupid? Thank you for this question, because as everybody knows, I am a gigantic Marvel fan. I'm talking about comic books. I do love the movies, really invested in the comic books though. So, came to the right place. Well, Cupid has actually made several appearances throughout Marvel Comics, but he's not known as Cupid in the comics. He's actually known as Eros, aka Star Fox, aka Thanos' brother, the Olympian god of love in the main 616 universe. His last appearance is actually in the Eternals comic storyline that's following the movies, which honestly seems like a really, really poor financial decision, but they're doing it anyways. So, technically, you can consider the Eternals after credits scene when Harry Styles steps out onto the big screen Eros's or Cupid's last Marvel appearance. That is technically what that is. No idea what their plans are, so I guess we'll have to just wait and see. Question 5, coming from Epic Man. What are my video game crushes? Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, Harley Quinn from Arkham Knight, Chun-Li, Samus, Zelda. Shit, Princess Peach can get it too. Question 6. Who were my elementary school crushes? Putting it out there, my crushes in elementary school were Bulma and Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Z. Pretty much any love interest throughout the Rush Hour franchise. Halle Berry, Keira Knightley. Shit, even Meryl Streep got something going on. Like right now. I don't care how old she is. Dime. Question 7. What's a good gift for Valentine's Day that isn't just the typical cards, candy, or flowers? Listen, if you want to get your significant other the best possible gift out there, you're gonna want to hear this. Everyone believes that you have to do something extravagant and flashy and profound and classy and original and romantic and just over the top everything. But in all honesty, the perfect Valentine's Day gift is one simple gift, and that's the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit military stealth bomber. Don't overstress and overthink it. It is the perfect gift for either gender, and it can very easily and comfortably fit into your own private aircraft hangar. And that's all the time we have for today. I hope you all learned something valuable and got the answers you were looking for. Thank you guys so much for all of your questions, and thank you for the opportunity that you've given me to shed some advice. As you all know, Papa BrainStorm is always here for you. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have had a very lovely holiday season. I'll see y'all next time.